So a little bit of an organization update for UEFI Forum and specification updates. We have quite a number of specifications, and while you're here, we also are going to use the SCTs. So I'm going to do a little bit of an update on SCT, and let you go after that. So this is the UEFI Forum. We have been increasing the number of participants. Promoters stay the same for some time. So there are 12 promoters now, 41 contributors. So these group of people are really the majority of the contributors, right? A lot of the working groups are formed by these group of people, and a lot of the ECRs are generated by the promoters and contributors. And then we also have 221 adopters who are basically using the technologies in their products and so on. 36 individuals, which is quite amazing. A lot of the people are keeping interested in taking the technologies to different areas. So we also have different working groups, right? So we have the ICWG, which Michael chaired, for talking about marketing, and also the white papers, the organization of the Plugfest and so on. We have specification working groups, one for UEFI, one for PI, one for ACPI, right? And then we also have the test working group. We also have the security response team. Over the last few years, as you may be aware, there have been a lot of reports of people wanting to go into the firmware layer to explore, and a number of vulnerabilities have surfaced in the past. And Dick was leading this team to have a quick response when some people raised issue in some of the firmware stacks. There are certainly also a number of sub-teams around different working groups. We have security teams, configuration, HII, networking, a lot of IPv4, IPv6 extensions, shell. There's also, there has been an ARM binding sub-team for that, and there is a very active MVDIM sub-team right now happening under the ACPI scope as well. Okay, so the specification side, so this one is pretty much the same as the Taipei Plugfest talk. UEFI, ACPI, UEFI shell, and the PI packaging specs, the latest one was released in January of this year. So we haven't had a newer version yet. So this is the most recent one. The PI 1.5 was kind of supposed to be the new one for this time around. But there's a little bit of a discussion at the board level right now. So the actual adoption has been postponed. So it probably would happen in the next few weeks. But we don't know. There has been some discussions. So in terms of what's in these specifications, so a lot of the things that were defining the version 2.5, I think they probably still need to be implemented and tested. So if you have these features that were covered in 2.5, this is still a good opportunity to continue the testing. We did some in the Taipei Plugfest, but since this is in the U.S., a lot of implementation happens here also. So this might be a very good opportunity. So don't forget about these, because the spec was released some while ago. And then in the 2.6 that was released in the beginning of the year, we have some more enhancements in terms of networking. RAS features, as well as a few enhancements in the user interface side, and a little bit of I/O enhancement, for new technologies and so on. So these certainly would be, the areas for testing as well. ACPI 6.1, a lot of the extensions for the non-volatile memory, persistent memory. So that would be a good area to look at. Certainly a lot of enhancements in RAS and management and I/O. So keep an eye on those things. Shell, I think that there has been an update in the form of version 2.2. So if you play with the shell a lot, if you run into people who already have the implementation of 2.2, look for these items and try it out, I guess. PI packaging, this is more into the internal implementation of the firmware. A lot of the enhancement for the PI packaging side, making it more modular, and you could take a look at those. I don't know how you would really, there's really no PI SCT. There has been an effort in that area, but I don't think it's being updated to offer you these kind of testings. But you still, could look at the areas of these enhancements and see if the implementation follows the specification. Here's the list of the new things in PI 1.5, and I listed it as the current final draft. So the way it works is that there were a lot of ECRs in these forms that were submitted to the working group for PI. And then I think it was around the end of June, there was a final draft that the PIWG team agreed upon, and that was sent to the board for review. Starting after the board meeting on June the 22nd, I think, it started the 30-day review period, right, for IP. And so that's where we are right now. It's still in that phase of IP review. So that, like I said before, the final adoption step has been postponed a little bit. But these are the contents that were in the specification final draft that was submitted to the board. SCT, so this is an interesting area right now. We officially today have SCT 2.4b for UEFI. The spec was released a long time ago. The SCT 2.4b is the current officially released SCT. And then for checking the ACPI interfaces, we have been recommending the use of the FWTS, which is kind of hosted as an open source project by Canonical. Alex was somewhere hosting that effort. And the 15.08.00 was supposed to be the version that gives you the tool to test the ACPI 5.1, which is also a spec that was released quite a while ago. So in terms of the SCT, our objective has been that we want to have these SCTs available in the hands of the developers 12 months after the release of the spec. But as you can see, we have been having a little bit of a struggle as to making these tools available in time. So under development are these things right now. So 2.5, which is the version that released, like I said, a while ago, we are now having the SCT for 2.5 in the shape of a beta release, which is now available for this Plugfest. And I'll point you to the URL, and I think there will be USB sticks in the front that you can grab that contains this test. Also, because we already have a UEFI 2.6 version, right? So I have also asked the team to generate the binary for the SCT 2.6. This is still in the shape of an alpha release. We were just beginning to give, add some tests for that package. And it's actually pretty interesting. As people develop the test, right, you can see, oh, the spec may have some issues because I think we found out a number of the protocols that that were submitted into the ECR, they didn't include the status codes, because they assumed the status codes would be similar to the existing ones, but it was not very much documented at all. So the developer of the SCT found these things out, right? So that's actually pretty good. That as we developed the test, we saw the problems in the specs as well. So this iteration would help making the spec better. So the intent is that after we have a chance to test the SCT 2.6, toward the end of the year, we can release the SCT 2.5. And then as in terms of 2.6, we may have another chance for a test cycle at a Plugfest next spring. And after that, we can release the 2.6 SCT. And for the ACPI, we continue to the route of recommending the FWTS for doing those kind of tests. And there is a version available, 16.09.00, for this Plugfest. And then if everything goes well, we probably would recommend a version toward the end of the year for ACPI 6.0. And then maybe by mid of next year, we can also recommend a version for 6.1. So the FWTS is continuously developing, right? So we are just kind of referring to a particular snapshot as a version that you can use for a certain version of the spec. So here it is. So if you have access to these GitHubs that is hosted by the UEFI Forum, you can grab the binary there, or you can go to the front desk and grab a USB key. So like I said, there are two versions of SCT for UEFI, one for 2.5, which is in the beta form, and the other is for 2.6, which is in the alpha release quality. And then the FWTS would be, the 16.09.00 would be the version that you can use to test the ACPI interfaces. Okay, so as I'm supposed to be reporting the state of the union of the UEFI Forum, I can certainly say that the current status is still strong, right? We have seen the UEFI and ACPI adopted on, vast majority of x86 client and server systems. I think almost all of them, right, for the newer systems. And on the ARM systems, at least for the server side, there has been a requirement to follow what's called the SBSA, SBBR, which are the architecture documents from ARM that point to the use of UEFI and ACPI. So that was actually pretty good. Certainly, as many of you are aware, the technology landscape has been changing, right? And PCs and servers used to be the fancy things that we work on, but there are newer things coming along the way. IoT or embedded systems or all these technologies. We don't have a very good penetration in these areas in terms of UEFI and ACPI. So it will be a good area for all of us to continue to work on to make the UEFI simpler and smaller for these kind of markets. There has been a perception about UEFI being big and spec being too large, which is actually the spec being large is not a bad thing, right? It documents the details of the interfaces so that everybody can comply to, but not everybody, not all the systems have to implement all the interfaces, and we would like to have sample implementations of these technologies for a smaller IoT embedded areas. That would be nice. So the third platform era that I point to is a terminology that IDC uses. It's basically pointing to the new cloudy, mobile, security kind of infrastructure that everybody's talking about. All right, thanks very much.